Hello everybody, thanks for joining me. Today I'm tying a fly from George Barron's book At the End of the Line, which I absolutely love, called the Connemara Black. The hook is a Hackle H280 size 10 barbless wet fly hook, and the thread I'm using is UTC 70 in black. For the tail on this fly I'm using some golden pheasant crest toppings, and for the rib some fine silver wire. To make the body I'm using two colours of seal's fur, dyed red and dyed black. And for the body hackle, this is a hen cape, natural black from whiting, and just look at the length on those feathers, it's absolutely amazing. For the throat hackle I'm using some fibres from a blue jay feather. And for the wing, some lemon wood duck, or you can use bronze mallard or anything else with a nice sort of warm yellow colour. And to finish off the head, a little dab of varnish. So let's get started. I'm going to secure my hook in the vise, make sure everything's nice and secure, and as you can see it passes the ping test. Then I'm going to tie in my thread about 1mm or so behind the hook eye and secure everything down with a few tight wraps. I can come in and trim away my rat's tail, and then using a nice flattened thread I'm just going to lay down a bed of thread all the way down the length of the hook shank. I've pre-selected 2 bits of golden pheasant crest. I like to use 2 to give a bit more volume to the tail, and I've measured these to be about the length of the hook shank. I'm happy with the length, so I'm going to secure everything down, make a wrap underneath to prop the tail up and stop it from slipping backwards, and then secure everything forwards with nice touching turns and trim away the excess. I'm going to flatten my thread down and secure down the little butts. And there we have it, a nice smooth underbody. Now I'm tying in my rib. This is a bit of fine silver wire, and this is both going to give a little bit of sparkle to the body of the fly, and we're also going to use it to hold down that palmed body hackle. The next job is to dub the body, so here I'm taking a couple of pinches of that red seal's fur to make the butt of the fly. The red and black's a really classic colour combination for wet flies, works really well, and it just gives a bit of a hot spot on the fly that the fish seem to love. I'm going to preen everything backwards, and then I'm going to come in with my second colour, the black, and just dub all the way up the length of the body, working towards the eye of the hook, and trying to lay down a nice smooth body, the slight taper getting a little bit larger as we work up towards the hook eye. It's easier to do this in two or three stages rather than trying to do it all at once. And I'm just going to make sure that I leave myself a little bit of room at the hook eye so we can tie in our beard hackles and things later. So I'm preening back the excess and securing it down, and then we can just rough it up a little bit. Now it's time to tie in our hackle. I've stripped some barbs off the end of the feather, and these whiting feathers have got lovely supple stems, so it's easy to tie them in from the base rather than from the tip. I'm going to wrap this back, and I use my rotary vise to do this once I've laid down the first turn. I find that this helps me keep it nice and even rather than wrapping it hand over hand, and it's a bit easier to keep control of the feather. Using the wire that we parked earlier, I'm now going to wrap that forward to secure the hackle down, and as you can see I'm seesawing the wire a little bit as I work forward, and that stops me from trapping too many hackle barbs. With the rib laid down, we can make a couple of tight wraps to secure that wire, and then helicopter away the excess. I'm going to cut away and take a little bit of time to trim off the excess feather and just preen those feather barbs out. The next job is to add the beard hackle, and I find it's easiest to turn the hook upside down in the vise, or turn the vise upside down to do this. And I've measured these so that they are going just beyond the point of the hook, and I'm going to trim away the excess and secure everything down. Now for the wing, I've got a good pinch of that lemon barred wood duck, and I'm going to tie this in fairly long. I want it to come about halfway down the length of the tail. I'm going to secure everything down, and again come in and trim away the excess. That looks a little bit ugly with the butt sticking out, so I'm going to take my thread and, working from the hook eye backwards just in touching turns, take the time to build up a nice smooth head. The final material to add is going to be a little bit of our jungle cock. Now my cape's absolutely knackered, so lots of my feathers are split already, but that's perfect for situations like this, where half a feather on each side makes a lovely eye, just adds another pop of colour to what's already quite a bright fly. So I'm going to make a few turns, secure that down, and I'm happy with the position, so again working from the hook eye backwards, I'm just going to work over the top of the ends of those feathers to secure everything down nice and tightly. That's all of our materials tied in, so I can come in with my whip finisher And I'm just going to make a 3 or 4 turn whip finish to secure down the thread, and then come in with my scissors and trim away the excess nice and close. I'm going to add a little dab of varnish just across the head of the fly, and this is both going to protect the thread wraps from trout teeth and also give a nice glossy finish. That's the fly finished. Connemara black, really lovely loch style wet fly, and with apologies to George Barron, do give this one a go. Some of the materials can be a bit tricky to get hold of, but it's an absolutely gorgeous fly. Gives me a bit of a sort of an Invicta vibe, and there's Bibio colours in there, and it can be a real killer on the fish. Thanks for watching, hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'll catch you in the next video.